Our story opens in a bustling laboratory, where a brilliant scientist has just achieved the impossible. She's perfected a device that can rewind time by exactly 60 seconds. The air is thick with anticipation and the hum of machines as she tests her invention for the first time. The world around her seems unchanged, but she knows she's just bent the rules of reality. Little does she realize, every use of the device comes with a hidden cost, one that will soon become terrifyingly clear. As days pass, the scientist becomes more comfortable with the device. She uses it more frequently, sometimes out of curiosity, sometimes out of necessity. But with each use, she begins to notice subtle changes in her environment, a chill in the air, shadows that seem to move on their own, and an inexplicable sense of dread. She dismisses these as stress, but the feeling only grows stronger. Unknown to her, every activation of the device summons a silent, invisible entity. This being exists outside the normal flow of time, drawn closer with each rewind. It cannot be seen or heard, but its presence is undeniable. The entity's only goal, to reach the scientist, for reasons she cannot yet comprehend. Story truly begins on the 10th use of the device. The scientist, distracted and desperate to fix a critical error, activates the rewind without hesitation. But this time, something is different. As the world resets, she catches a glimpse of a shadowy figure just outside her lab door, a figure she's never seen before, but somehow recognizes as the source of her unease. Fear grips her as she realizes the entity is real, and it's getting closer. She frantically reviews her notes and experiments, searching for any clue about what she's unleashed. The connection becomes clear. Each use of the device brings the entity one step nearer. She's not just manipulating time, she's inviting something into her world. Amidst her terror, the scientist remembers the reason she built the device in the first place: to prevent a catastrophic event she knows is coming. The details are unclear, but she's certain that without intervention, disaster will strike. The device was her solution, but now it's become a double-edged sword. She faces an impossible decision: stop using the device and accept the coming catastrophe, or continue using it to try and fix the situation, knowing the entity will draw ever closer. The weight of responsibility presses down on her, and she struggles to decide which risk is greater. Desperate for answers, the scientist experiments with the device's limits. She tries to observe the entity, setting up cameras and sensors, but nothing captures its presence. The only evidence is her own growing fear and the entity's increasing proximity. She realizes that the entity exists outside normal perception. Feeling isolated, she considers reaching out to colleagues for help. But how can she explain what's happening without sounding delusional? She drafts messages, then deletes them, afraid of the consequences. The burden of knowledge is hers alone, and the entity is now almost at her door. In a moment of desperation, she uses the device again, hoping to gain insight from a previous version of herself. But the rewind only brings the entity closer, and her past self is just as confused. The cycle of fear and uncertainty deepens, and she begins to question her own